bar to kick off. And Buffalo will have the ball for the first time in the second half. At the 7-yard line, Al Edwards with a nice run back all the way out to the 40-yard line. Bills will take over there. The longest drive in terms of time in the history of the Super Bowl, 9 minutes, 29 seconds for the New York Giants, and it pays off with an O.J. Anderson touchdown and the lead.
We just heard our American commentator say it, 9.5 minutes, the longest touchdown drive in NFL Super Bowl history. And Danny, you kept saying the New York Giants, what they do is wear you down. That's just what they're doing, isn't it?
I think really they're stubborn. They just come out and run the ball at you, and it really doesn't matter what happens. They just believe that they can do that. Right here, though, is I think you see some extra effort really is the thing that the Giants were doing in this whole drive and trying to get these first downs. Their third downs conversion was great. Extra effort, get the first down, make it. Later on, you see that too.
Same thing with Otis Anderson gets them going with a big play, as Dan said, extra effort out of Anderson, out of Meggett, out of Baker, one of the receivers, and not doing anything different than they did in the first half, just a lot better execution and extra effort on the part of the players.
You're seeing something there that you see from the great running backs as well. They don't run away from the tackler, they run into the tackler.
Well, Otis Anderson is a very physical runner. Right here is the big play. It's like 3rd and 15, and you see this extra effort trying to get the first down, and this is how you're going to win championships. If you make first downs like this, and this guy just turns his body loose to make the play, to keep the drive going.
Then they get down in there and score in territory, and they do what they do best. Here we come right at you, nothing fancy, man-on-man tight blocking, touchdown.
And then we saw that was it. The whole thing was set up by extra play. But we just saw that on the kickoff, the Buffalo Bills are going to be starting on their 40-yard line. They needed a good starting point first, didn't they? Now they need a drive.
Well, I think the Bills are really need to come out and do something positive right here. Take some time, get some points so they don't just stick their defense back on the field, because their defense is going to be tired.
Well, you guys have been prophetic before this. What are they going to do? Are they going to go for the quick score, which they've been doing so well in recent games, or are they going to try and calm the game down, slow the clock down, and make their own drive?
Oh, I think they'll just take a look and see what the defense dictates that they do. Whatever the defense gives them, I think that they will take. They need to make a big play. Momentum has really swung toward the Giants. They need to change that with some big plays.
All right, well, we've got a great game going here. It's 17-12 to the New York Giants. Let's go back to our match commentators down to the field.
And Thomas out to the 48, stopped by Greg Jackson, 2nd and 2.
We want to talk about a couple of cold teams. The offensive team of the Bills and the defensive team of the Giants haven't played football for over an hour. It extended halftime, and then that drive by the Giants offense, and the fact that the Giants offense finished up the first half. Bill Belichick's crew hasn't been on the field in a long time. 2nd and 2 as Jim Kelly has his receivers covered, and then moves for a first down, stopped by Jackson at the New York 45-yard line. 4:44 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Funny, the Giants appeared to be on the ropes, down 12-3. Buffalo had the ball, but then that long drive at the end of the first half and the big drive at the start of the second half, and they have the lead by 5 as Thomas picks up a tough 2 to the 45-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 8.
Bills looking across the line of scrimmage. They're seeing what they were seeing in the first half, and that's 2 down linemen, and they feel they should be able to run the ball. They should be able to blow off the line and blow out the 4 linebackers that are in there. So it's 2 down linemen, 4 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs most of the way for the Giants.
2nd and 8. And incomplete as Jackson was all over Reed. Reed is looking for a flag, and there is one. But on the other side of the field, it's on the near side of the field.
But I think that'll be the call out. He was looking at it all the way. Bills continuing to go with what works for them, too, and that's Reed coming across under the zone. Jackson, number 47.
Pass interference, number 84 offense, still 2nd down.
Well, they're calling it on McKellar. It's offensive pass interference. It was away from the play.
So Jackson gets away with one, and they call offensive pass interference and back him up.
Levy said, what in the world is that about? 2nd down and 18. as Kelly throws to the far side, and that's incomplete. Good coverage that time. The intended receiver, Al Edwards, covered by Perry Williams. 3rd and 18.
Now, one thing the Giants are doing a tremendous job of tonight is they're making the Buffalo receivers pay whether they catch the football or not. We've got a flag down on the field, and now Buffalo is going to be called for offensive holding, which will back them up if they take the penalty.
I suspect they'll decline
Number
it.
65 offense.
Right.
Penalty decline. 3rd down.
Right. There's no need to take that. But when you stop to think about it, every time a Buffalo receiver has been anywhere near the football, he's been pounded. And we saw Andre Reed in the first half look a little gun shy about catching some of the passes, and now not much success so far here in the second half.
Yeah, when you're playing 4 linebackers and 5 defensive backs in that zone defense, you're trying to come under low on a crossing pattern. You are going to get hit by big people.
And when you get them down to 3rd and 18, you also take them out of the no-huddle offense. Buffalo after huddling. 3rd and 18. Kelly under pressure. Kelly gets sacked. Leonard Marshall. He had 2 last week. The big one against Montana.
Oh, they sent something too, Al. You got a 87-yard drive before the half, a 75-yard drive by your offense, and that does a lot of things for your defense. This is a fired-up Giants defense at the moment. Here's Kelly. No receiver. Good coverage downfield. He had the time to get rid of it. But when you get sacked with a 2-man defensive line and no blitzing, you're in trouble.
Rick Tootin with a bad kick, an angled kick that goes out of bounds up and around the 40-yard line. So the Giants get another big break. It's out of bounds at the 42. Marshall the sack. Tootin with the bad kick. Giants have the ball and a 5-point lead. 20-yard punt.
So it's this shot for the championship.
It's Mr. Cadbury's parrot.
When Mr. Cadbury's parrot goes berserk, the geezer just can't get on with his work. He'll step one on your nut, he'll stick one on your nose. He leaves those Cadbury's mini eggs everywhere he goes. Be careful, cause wherever you may go, you'll hear that Cadbury's parrot say, hello.
A tutte le ore, sempre, ma sempre qua. Vediamo qua. Vediamo qua. Ecco qua.
So to open the half, first it was the Giants offense. They went on a 9.5-minute drive, and then the defense came into play and they stopped them quickly. There's 3:42 left in the 3rd quarter, and the Giants certainly have things going here. Going to pick up the action now with the New York Giants on their own 42-yard line.
The Giants controlling the football here in the 3rd quarter. That long drive, they held Buffalo. They take over at the 42, and Hostetler rolls to his left. Pitch cross, a nice move by Cross, and Cross is close to a first down at the 48-yard line, tackled by Odoms.
And you want to take up coaching because it's certainly working. Here's a man looking on George Young, who is responsible for the wealth of talent they have out on the field as Giants. In 1979, he came in and he has been drafting beautifully over the years. His first player that he took was Phil Simms. In 1981, he took Lawrence Taylor, and he built offense and defense from that. Done a great job.
First down, Giants at the 48-yard line.
Well, even more importantly, right here, Bill Parcells and Ron Earhart have made some subtle adjustments offensively for the New York Giants that are really paying off. Moving Hostetler to the left is only one of them. They've changed some blocking schemes up front, and boy, they are really starting to hum.
48-yard line on first down. Flag is thrown. The pass is off the fingertips of Baker. And it's a holding call against the Bills, and that's an automatic first down.
That'll be against Nate Odoms. I think that's Nate Odoms, the corner to that side.
Not always true, but so often.
Holding, number 37 defense. First down.
So often when you're struggling, you have to get yourself in these situations. There is Odom against Baker, no question, as he almost tore the jersey off and brought the flag.
5-yard penalty, automatic first. Bills offense, they haven't had very much to do here over the past hour and 5 minutes or so as the Giants have controlled the football. Anderson can't get going.
Now there's a run by Otis Anderson that you just don't see much anymore. He seldom gets strung out. He wanted to take it inside, didn't see it. But normally he'll just put his head and his shoulder down and buck up into the line and pick up a couple of yards. That's a very, very uncharacteristic look at Otis Anderson. There he normally would just head upfield. That is a change that Otis Anderson has made in his running style over the years that has paid great dividends for the New York Giants.
2nd and 10. Here's Hostetler. Chased by Smith. Then runs out of bounds at about the 42-yard line. Minimal gain.
Great athletic move on the part of Smith, but Smith has been going full speed all out tonight, chasing first the rollout in the first half going the other way, and now they're coming at him with it. That time he got caught inside. He had to work his way back out. This is a full wind sprint for Bruce Smith.
It's the old athletic terminology. Right now Bruce Smith is sucking big wind because he has to be exhausted.
And he's the heart of this defense, Dan. He steps in that defensive huddle and he's sucking. The head is down, and it affects the entire defensive team.
How close.
3rd and 11 at the 44. 2 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. Giants up by 5 from the shotgun. Hostetler to the open man. It's Ingram, but he is short of the first down. He's out of bounds at the 35. It's 4th and 2. Leonard Smith with the tackle.
Oh, and a great pickup on the part of the Giants offensive line, and they're back stepping up to pick up the blitz, and that left Ingram man on man. He is coming up short of the first down and probably should have worked it upfield, but Hostetler had good protection and could have held it just a beat and got the first down.
It's the same blitz that the Bills used in the first quarter very effectively, where Clifford Hicks lines up as a cornerback and then comes on the blitz. I'm telling you, the Giants offensively are making a lot of great adjustments. And Bill the Gambler goes again.
Yep. And the Giants, who've been terrific on 4th down in the playoffs, go for it on 4th and 2, but not this time. 6 Bills, as if for emphasis, drive Anderson to the turf and give Buffalo the ball back.
And guess who's there? Let's try Bruce Smith, who single-handedly makes this play. What a great series by Bruce Smith. Again, he's working on the left side, and they're asking the impossible. They're asking Mark Bavaro to keep Smith from making that play. He can't do it.
Mitsubishi Shogun, Off-Road Tow Car of the Year for 1991.
I just can't believe that what you're saying is true. I'm just trying to find a way to make it clear and get through to you. I got to tell you how good it really is. Through sun and rain, some change, you know you can't top the taste of a twirl. Cadbury's chocolate. You can't top the taste of a twirl.
With a 3-year unlimited mileage warranty, you can keep on running.
Welcome back, everybody. Danny, big fourth down play there. They were being successful in the past, not this time.
Well, it's critical for Buffalo to stop them because the momentum was going the Giants' direction. If they'd have got some points on the board, that'd give them some trouble. But this was a big play right here. And as you see, Bruce Smith don't get blocked. I think they had a misassignment there in their blocking, and that's how they stopped them.
Bruce Smith making a big play there. They keep saying the big guys, the big star players will make the big play. We're still waiting for LT to do it. Kenny, on that play, is that a momentum changer? Can Bills take advantage of that now and maybe change the game?
Yeah, things like that can be a momentum changer, but it's really based on what they do with the ball possession this go-around.
All right, well, we're now about to go back down to the game. The Buffalo Bills will be taking over on the 36-yard line, their own, and they just made that big play on fourth down, and that's why they're at the 36. So now let's go to our match commentators.
Kelly to Thomas. Thomas with a spin move. Close to a first down, out to about the 47-yard line. So the Giants have been so successful gambling on fourth down. That wasn't a true gamble in the sense that Parcells has been known to do it in the past, but still could be a very key play as Buffalo takes over here and tries to mount a drive.
Certainly a lot of emotional value. Al, we talked about the emotional value of the long drive, the 75 and the 87 for the Giants, but that certainly is going to help the Buffalo offense.
2nd and 1, and that's Kenneth Davis taking it from Kelly, picking up the first down out to the 50-yard line with 42 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Gary Reasons makes the stop.
Well, the other interesting thing for Buffalo right now is the fact that they've been having their way with everybody lately. I mean, 51 points against the Raiders, 44 against Miami. They lose the last game of the season in a game that means nothing to Washington. I mean, these guys haven't faced any adversity in a while. They're not used to not succeeding.
They also haven't faced the type of linebackers that the Giants have either. Davis, 19-yard gain, and then fumbles the ball out of bounds.
Although I think they'll probably rule that the ball didn't come out until he went down.
And that will end the third quarter. As the Bills mount a drive, trying to retake the lead. We go to the fourth quarter in Super Bowl 25. Giants 17, Bills 12. Back we come after this from our ABC.
So an all-important third quarter. The Giants dominating it first, but then with just seconds left in the last minute of the third quarter, the Buffalo Bills start a drive. And Danny, you had a feeling that if the Giants didn't score on that last drive that they had, that maybe Buffalo could turn it around.
Well, I really believe that now maybe the momentum might change back the other way to Buffalo, and this will be a really tight ball game as it is right now. But I think the Bills have a real good chance of winning if they can get some points on the board this time they have the ball.
Kenny, the old Oakland Raiders, they played a lot on emotion. Why is it you think that this game is so important to be emotional in a team? Throughout the years, the emotional teams have often been winners.
Well, it's a team that puts together the chemistry, a group of people that the game means so much to, and you have that chemistry of oneness, and you care a lot about each other out there, and it becomes an emotional situation where you want to win. You want to win for yourself. You want to win for everybody concerned, the fans, management, your teammates, and you put that chemistry together, and you get that emotion involved with some talent, and you can go a long way with it.
Danny, quickly before we go back to the game, the World League of American Football, you're hoping to maybe do some commentary on that. What do you think of it?
I don't know. I think it would be real interesting, and hopefully it'll be successful. I'd like to maybe try it.
Do you think it's going to be successful? I mean, the funny thing is, when I started in the league in 1981, people would say, what, like, you wear a crash helmet, mate, and you do what?
Just think, you might be able to still kick in that league.
I could play quarterback if I really worked at it. I mean, I don't have to be mobile. I know that by your knees.
Okay, Mick, thanks.
But really, though, to see a World League come about, and the opportunity for players, I mean, there's only 1,500 players in the NFL. There's obviously a lot more great players than that in America. Everyone plays it growing up. Everyone would love to play professionally. Kenny, are you excited to see that? I'm sure when you were playing, you never thought that this would be a worldwide league.
Well, yeah, I'm happy to see it, and we'd like to see it succeed, you know, as even if it works out to be a farm league for the NFL, and what they've done is create this spring league. It eliminates another league coming in and challenging them. It also creates a lot of jobs for people, players that would be going home without a job, officials, concessionaires, coaches. Creates a lot of jobs, and hopefully it will be successful.
Dan, is it something that you think you would have fun with?
Well, I think, first of all, I think there's enough talent out there that it would be a very competitive league, because there's a lot of very good players that are just not on that bubble, or just not good enough to make it in the NFL. So there's a lot of players, and I think it'll be very competitive, and I think it's something maybe I'd like to do and try and do a little announcing like Kenny does.
I think you'd be very good at it.
And the thing about the World League, they've changed and adapted some of the rules, so it's going to be a lot more wide open and a lot more passing, a lot more scoring, which is obviously going to help the European audience as well. People like to see scoring. Is it going to be interesting? Do you think maybe the NFL might change these things?
No, I don't think the NFL will change the rules because they have enough attendance and they have the interest. But I think the big thing is this league will be successful because there is talent there for it.
All right, well, let's go back to the game now. The Buffalo Bills have started a good drive as they go into the fourth quarter.
Kelly from the shotgun, flanked by Thomas. Gives to Thomas. And Thurman breaking tackles at the 22, inside the 10, touchdown Buffalo.
Al, you mentioned earlier in the day the name of Thurman Thomas. He got good blocking at the line, broke a tackle, and then got one from Andre Reed downfield. Jim Richer with one at the line of scrimmage. But then Andre Reed made one happen downfield. He knocks down Everson Walls, and
Giants continue to go with that two-down line, too. And the Bills have been pecking. Finally, they get a runner through the linebackers, and a great effort by Thurman Thomas.
He broke through Thompson to get sprung to give Buffalo the lead. Norwood with the extra point. And with 14:52 to play in regulation, Buffalo leads by 2.
So reminiscent of the run and shoot, and Barry Sanders. Watch the move to the outside. He bounces off of Myron Guyton. Andre Reed gives him the block on Walls, and Thurman Thomas puts the Bills back on top.
Last week we said look out for Thurman Thomas. This week we said look out for Thurman Thomas. Now we shout it. Thurman Thomas has done it. You're not surprised, eh?
Well, I'll tell you what, you can see that they need to give the ball to him, throw it to him, give it to him, because he's eventually going to come up with a big play. And as you see, he gets this trap block inside, and this is out of passing formation. It's just wide open for him. He breaks a couple tackles, second effort, gets some downfield blocking, goes outside and makes a big play. Puts Buffalo back in the game, ahead with the momentum. There's that change, that momentum change.
I don't know if there's a chance that we might be able to see that again at the very beginning, because you brought up something, a trap block. I'm sure there's a lot of people in the British audience that are saying, now what on earth is a trap block? They're saying, what is that? Now, Kenny, explain to us, what is a trap block?
Well, a trap block is usually designed for penetrating type defensive linemen, which they come across, and usually you're going to get a guy, see 67 is the on guard, but the trapping guard is usually the off guard away from the play that comes in traps, and it's against good teams that penetrate well, that get a lot of penetration. You bring the off guard, trap them, cut behind them.
So the real thing here is some poor tackling by the New York Giants secondary, because this really shouldn't have been a big play. 2 or 3 guys had a chance to tackle.
We just heard our American commentators once again jumping on someone and saying now the New York defense is still in the 2-down lineman defense. Are you against that, or you think that it's been successful?
I know it's been very successful for them, so why should they change now? I mean, it's been very successful, and I think they'll continue to do it.
Easy to sit up there and second guess after a great player like Thomas makes a big run to criticize the defense. I think it's been successful, as Dan says.
All right, well, let's go back to our American commentators down on the field.
Fans here in Tampa.
None of the Bills fans need them at the moment. They're standing because their team now leads 19-17 with Norwood to kick off. Meggett can't get on track. Dave Meggett is tackled up at the 23-yard line. ABC Sports presentation of Super Bowl 25 is being brought to you by Royal Caribbean, the grand resorts of the 7 seas, by the American Express card. Don't First and 10. The Giants have it at the 23-yard line. They had the early lead 3-0. Buffalo then went out in front 12-3. The Giants came back to lead 17-12, and now it's Buffalo by a deuce. Anderson the 3. O.J. out to the 26-yard line. Tackled by Seals. And let's go back to the touchdown run, the longest run of the game. 31 yards by T.T.
And keep in mind the Giants staying with their 2 down linemen, and that had much to do with it. Now look at it from the end zone. They blow away the 2 down linemen, and then Thomas just on his own, bouncing off tacklers into the end zone. Bill's just zoning along that line and blowing the linebackers out of there.
2nd and 7 at the 26-yard line. Ingram in motion. Fake to Anderson. Nice block to buy Hostetler some time. Then under pressure, he throws it away as Jeff Wright finally was able to get in and knock him down. Jeff Wright, number 91. And Hostetler slow and arising once more.
That's one of the reasons that Jeff Wright replaced Fred Smerlas as nose tackle of the Bills, because of the added mobility and agility he brings to the position. Jeff had 5 sacks during the regular season, and it's not often that you'll see a nose tackle that's capable of putting consistent pressure on a quarterback. Jeff Wright is one of those nose tackles.
Right now you need a pass, probably a rollout pass for the Giants. You need it from kind of a shaken Jeff Hostetler.
3rd and 7 at the 26. Bills by 2. 13:56 to play. Oates looking back at Hostetler. Play clock is down to 2-1. They get it off. And Hostetler throws, and it's caught by Bavaro for a big first down to the 43. Dragged to the turf by Shane Conlon.
He is a money player, Mark Bavaro, and very important first down for the Giants.
Well, and a good read by Hostetler of seeing the matchup that he had. I mean, they're making Conlon play like a cornerback, 6 yards off the line of scrimmage, and having to play a tight end like that. A very unnatural position for Shane Conlon, a middle linebacker. I mean, that's smart by Hostetler of seeing that matchup and taking advantage of it. Shane's going, hey, don't do me any favors, Walt. Talking to Walt Corey, his defensive coordinator.
1st and 10 at the 43-yard line. Hostetler sends Ingram in motion, shadowed by Odoms. Anderson cuts it back. Jackson makes the tackle. He gets to the 50-yard line. Gain of 7.
Oh, and Otis is a little upset with himself for making that little juke to the outside instead of really steamrolling it up through the hole.
He talked about his tendency in his early days, Dan, to take it to the outside. This time he might have leaked back in there just for a moment. He caught himself and he said, I'm going to turn this sucker up right here.
Yeah,
just a fraction late.
If he'd have just rounded it right off the hip of his blocker, that might have been a 20-yard pickup.
84 yards on the ground for Anderson tonight. 98 for his counterpart Thomas. Here's Carthen. That should be enough for a first down as he takes it to the 47-yard line.
Carthen doesn't
12:40 to play.
Carry it that often, but back in his days with the New Jersey Generals, when Herschel Walker was hurt in one season, he was a 1,000-yard rusher for them. So he can move it.
The Giants this season, when leading after 3 periods of play, undefeated, and they were leading after 3. But the Bills scored more points in the 4th quarter this year than any team in the NFL. In fact, more points in that quarter than any team scored in any quarter. And Buffalo leads by 2. First down at the 46-yard line. Off the fake. Over the middle, Bavaro again for a first down to the 27-yard line. Tackled by Leonard Smith.
There's that seam pass that we were talking about before the game, Frank, with Phil Simms. He said at least once they had him in the first series of the ball game. Remember, and Hostetler overthrew a wide open Mark Bavaro, but not this time.
And this time he doesn't. And Bavaro and Hostetler were right in concert there because he had to throw underneath the coverage and over the linebackers, and he was perfect with it.
And meanwhile, Bavaro is hurt. He's on his knees on the Giants sideline. So Bavaro is out of the game after taking that hit. Howard Cross comes in, and there's Mark as the Giants have a first down at the 27-yard line.
He might have got the wind knocked out of him. He fell right on that leg with his stomach.
He looked like he fell on the ball, too.
Carson in motion. Hostetler protected well, throws, finds Ingram to the 14-yard line. First down. He thought for just a second about lateraling the ball to Carson, nearly provoking a Parcells heart attack. And there's Leonard Smith shaken up.
Leonard Smith, the hard hitter of the Buffalo secondary. I don't know if he took his helmet off or if it was knocked off. Let's watch the conclusion of the play. Ingram right here thinks about tossing it. Decides better.
Timeout because of the Smith injury. It'll be first down at the 14 when we come back.
Around the world, 4 million hearts rely on ICI Pharmaceuticals. World problems, world solutions, world class.
Well, baby, I'm thinking about your chocolate. Well, baby, I'm thinking about your taste. Well, baby, I'm thinking about your chocolate. Thinking about your taste. Well, baby, I'm thinking about your chocolate. Thinking about your taste.
And 5 more tonight. Biggest reception of the night for the Giants, though, is that Baker catch for a touchdown at the end of the first half. Leonard Smith came out. He is replaced by Dwight Drain. Bavaro is back in for New York. First down, 14-yard line, 10:45 to go. Anderson stopped by Drain at the 10-yard line. Pick up a 4.
Al, you mentioned the biggest catch of the night being that touchdown reception by Baker. Remember that reception by Ingram where he got the first down. What did he get, like 19 yards or so to pick up a first down, breaking tackles and fighting, and that was in that long drive, the 9.5-minute drive. Another wasn't a touchdown, but it was vital. And meanwhile, the New York Giants, when they have to, mustering up another drive.
3 tight ends, 2nd and 6. Fake to Anderson. Bennett chases Hostetler. He throws to Bavaro. He breaks a tackle by Conlon, but then Smith, who's back in the game, is right there to make sure he doesn't go any further.
Cornelius Bennett taking a good angle on Hostetler and making certain that he did not get outside where he would have had an option to either run the ball or throw the ball, and he had to throw it because Bennett made a good move on him.
Hostetler takes another shot from Bennett. I don't know how many more rollouts Jeff Hostetler has in him physically. He's taking a pounding, as is this guy.
Huge play for the Giants coming up, and so Parcells decides to take a timeout. The Giants spend their first of the second half here with a 3rd and 5 upcoming at the 9-yard line. 9:37 left in regulation in Super Bowl 25. Buffalo 19, the Giants 17.
All right, you guys, you've all heard of You Make the Call. I'm going to put you on the spot. Danny, you're the coach. You're Bill Parcells. 3rd down and 5. What are you going to do?
Well, I think they'll probably try to throw some, they'll spread them out and probably try to throw some high-low stretch, because I think what Buffalo's going to do is play zone coverage. I don't think they'll blitz them, because they got beat the last time they did this in this same situation.
Do you agree with that, Kenny?
Yeah, I think so. Spread it out, or either the other option might be, because a Hosteller can move around pretty good. Spread him outside, give him the option of running the ball or throwing the ball, something like that.
We just saw a big play here by the Buffalo defense. Bavaro makes a good catch. Both defenses are playing well, aren't they?
Well, they've been doing this bootleg all night, so I think the Buffalo Bills have kind of caught on to this play. And Conlon made a good play in this situation by covering Bavaro.
Kenny, it looks like we've got a few more seconds here. You're going to call that they're going to go it out in the flaps. You don't think Hostetler now it's time for the bootleg?
I don't think it's time for the bootleg. The yardage is too long. You don't fool anybody by faking the run. And the yardage is too long. I think maybe sprint him out and give him that option, as we say, an option, either run with the football or throw the football.
This really has been a huge game for Hostetler, hasn't it? Sims is now 34 years old. Hostetler's been waiting back there. He's played wide receiver. He's played on special teams. And suddenly this year, he's won 6 games, big games in the last few weeks. Is this his time? As suddenly Sims begin to wonder, maybe I've seen my last year as the quarterback of the New York Giants?
Well, I don't know about that, because Phil's an excellent player, but I think Jeff Hostetler is a great athlete. He gives another dimension as far as running the football. But Phil Simms has been in big games and won a lot of great games for the Giants, and he's a great player.
Well, I'm sure that Phil Simms is pulling for him, but if Jeff Hostetler throws a touchdown on this 3rd and 5, he's going to be their starter next year. That's Michael. Let's go back down to the field.
9:37 remaining in regulation. Buffalo leads 19-17. Critical play for the Giants here. 3rd and 5 at the 9-yard line.
And here we have a 2-point ball game, and we haven't had a turnover in this ball game yet either. Well, you'd have to think that the first turnover might be an extremely critical one. It's going to come late in the ball game if it comes, and it's going to come with one team ahead by less than a touchdown.
Jerry Siemens signals the ball ready for play. 3rd and 5, just inside the 9. Baker split left, Ingram to the right. Meggett and Carson in the backfield. It's Meggett behind a Carson block. Should have the first down. They have to get to the 3.5, as you can see.
Carson turned back to the inside and really laid a haymaker that sprung it for Meggett.
And Mark Bavaro put an influence block on Cornelius Bennett. He acted like he was trying to cut him off to the inside.
Stood him up.
Never tried to hook him, but just tied him up long enough that Bennett couldn't get in on the play. Boy, now that's a veteran block by Bavaro. You call it an influence block or a negative block, where you make it look like you're trying to keep him going one way when it's actually the way you want him to go.
Ray Bentley, meanwhile,
defensive players will fight that pressure. Let's look at it again. Bottom of your screen there on the inside. Watch Bavaro get to the inside. Bennett figures that Meggett's got to come inside. Gets a block from Carson and gets the first down.
Bentley limped off. Bailey replaces him at inside linebacker. 1st and goal, and the tackle is made by Jeff Wright. Big play. Otis Anderson knocked down back at the 7.
Well, I just talked about the quickness that Wright brings to the game, and there's an excellent illustration.
You won't find many nose tackles sliding down that line that quickly. Big number 91, and he goes 290 pounds. Look at him with great speed.
It's almost as if the Giant blocking scheme was letting Wright alone, thinking that, hey, he's just a nose guard. He's not quick enough to get into this play going outside.
2nd and goal at the 7. 8:15 to play. Anderson follows Carson. Gets it back to about the original line of scrimmage. It's going to be 3rd and goal from just outside the 3. Stopped by Conlon. Bailey and Conlon collaborate on the tackle. 8 minutes to play.
This game being played now on both sides of the field. Parcells deciding on what he's going to call. Will he take the chance, let Hofstetter go with the roll, put the ball in the air? Meanwhile, Walt Corey, the defensive coordinator on the other side, trying to think with him. George Young, the man who
brought all this talent to the Giants. Ponders the situation. Ba-bum, 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 ba-bum.
3rd and goal. Baker split left, Ingram right. Cross is slotted to the right. Hostetler has it knocked down at the 10-yard line by Bennett. So Buffalo holds, but now the Giants can still take the lead on a bar field goal.
Another athletic move by Bennett. He has been a fly in the Giants offense all night long and been a force when he's needed to be. But watch this, going high in the air to bat it away, save the completion. I don't think the Giants,
he almost intercepted it,
have got anything less than 7 to 10 yards every time they roll left. They have been flirting with disaster when they've been rolling to the right.
Giants trying to take the lead on a bar field goal from 21 yards. Hostetler to put it down. Barr's kick is good, and New York once again has the lead. It's the 4th lead change in the game. 7:20 remaining in regulation in Super Bowl 25. It's a beauty. The Giants 20 and the Bills 19.
You know, most fans probably come to the Super Bowl once. Tom Henschel here comes once a year. He's the only man, as you'll know if you watch Friday's Red 42, who's been to every single Super Bowl. Only man outside the media anyway. Tom, happy silver anniversary.
Thank you very much. I'll tell you.
How does this one compare to the other 24?
I'm more excited today because I'm with my 2 brothers, David and Jim. And the 3 of us, this is his first. And this is great. It's a close, low-scoring game, and we love it.
How long do you think you'll be able to keep this streak going?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, that's right. I'll keep this going forever and ever because I want to be the last one in America who can actually say I've been to every Super Bowl game in person. I'll outlive everybody.
Hey.
Well, I hope he sees the 50th as well. Meggett just had a great run. Everything's all set up. They've just kicked the field goal, and they're kicking off now.
Barr puts it in the air. Fielded at the 8 by Don Smith. Brought back to the 20. Roger Brown makes the tackle. Time of possession. Let's check that out. The Giants about a 2.5 to 1 ratio.
That is truly incredible, that time of possession. Worth reflecting a 75-yard drive and an 87-yard drive. Teddy Marchibroda, the offensive coordinator. This is not his type of offense. He's very conservative, but he's got this quarterback. And the offense does reflect Jim Kelly. He's a swashbuckler. He likes to go fast, get things moving, and this is his offense.
Here's Thurman Thomas. This one has the feeling of the kind of game that whoever has the ball last. Thomas now is over 100 yards. He's carried 13 times for 102 yards.
Well, Thomas and Otis Anderson certainly have delivered everything that they were expected to do.
It's about 8 yards a carry. Kelly protected well. Thomas again. Thurman does it all. Mark Collins makes the tackle. When we say does it all, he runs with the ball. He's proven that. He catches the ball as well. Second leading receiver on the team, 49 receptions during the regular year.
2 down linemen, no pressure on Kelly. Look at all this time. He looks one receiver, looks back off backside, comes all the way to the back, and still he could have looked to another receiver. No pressure at all. And Belichick comes with a blitz,
which Kelly avoids, but still the secondary does its job, and Kelly is forced to run out of bounds. Johnson forcing him out up at the 40-yard line. 6:13 remaining.
I guess it's a case that you can't have everything you want. Bill Belichick is electing to stay in that deep zone, hoping to punish the receivers when they come underneath. But there is the risk that if your guys up front don't beat their guys one-on-one, you're not going to get much of a pass rush.
2nd down and 9. Davis goes next to nowhere. Up at the 41. The Giants from time to time tonight subtly have been kicking the ball and trying to delay it just a little bit. Before that last play, Leonard Marshall moved it with his foot just to buy a little time, and the Giants tried to do it again there.
Yeah, they were warned that time. Banks was warned about kicking the ball, delaying the game.
3rd down and 8. Kelly throws, and it is not caught. Broken up by Williams. A big-time hit on Al Edwards to force the punt.
And it was Perry Williams, who has been hurt tonight a couple of times, coming up to make the stop. And he is single coverage against a very speedy receiver. Has to play him for the first down. He plays him short, and that is a big-time pop.
5:35 to go. 4th and 8. Tootin to kick. Meggett back to receive at the 20-yard line. Meggett at the 13. It's a 46-yard punt. And tripped up at the 30-yard line by Steve Tasker, who's going to the Pro Bowl as a special teamer.
And it's a good thing Tasker does. Dave Meggett had a colossal hole. If Tasker doesn't knock him down.
Can he accelerate? Led the NFC in punt returns, and that could have been the distance.
Well,
strap it on, Bruce.
A lot of pressure on Bruce and company.
And let's start thinking about timeouts now here. The Giants have 2 left. The Bills have 3 left. They have all of them remaining. If the Giants can pick up a first down, then Buffalo might have to get into a position to start taking their timeouts. We've got 5:25 remaining. O.J. Anderson out to about the 35-yard line. And now the Giants will take as much time off that play clock as they can. Seals and Bailey make the tackle. Bailey is in there for Bentley, who was shaken up on the last series and is not back in. Filling the inside.
And oh, do you love to get first and big yardage. First down and 6. You're in pretty comfortable territory. You can think 2-down run now.
So here's Hostetler using as much of that play clock on the left as he can. Game clock on the right. 2nd down and 4. The Giants take the play clock down to 3.
Smart.
And there is Anderson for a first down. And now, as we say, the Bills are going to have to begin to think about taking their timeout.
Well, and they're going to have to think about taking some chances with a run blitz. But I think back to that 86 Giant team and their offensive line and the way they pulled their guards, the way they ran combination and scheme blocking with Arden, Godfrey, and Nelson. Hey, this group here, forget that stuff. This is a group that just knocks people off the ball, and we're looking at the maturation of what looks to be one of the great offensive lines in the National Football League. This is a bunch of kids, and they're just, with the exception of Bart Oates, hey, they're going to get nothing but better, and that's kind of scary.
There's the play clock, the game clock to 3:48. 1st and 10 at the 44-yard line. Meggett can't turn it. Stopped for a yard loss. Mike Lotus is the first to hit him. 3.5 minutes remaining.
The Bills will
and
stop it,
Buffalo will take their first timeout. And when you start taking your timeouts here, then it becomes imperative to stop the Giants, because if you're going to use them and give up the first down, you're going home.
I think the Bills were aided that time by the Giants going outside. They've been removing the Bills defensive line between the tackles. I might have been tempted to just keep the game between the tackles.
This man now is going to have to come with a major effort. More on that offensive line. They're all draft picks with the exception of Bart Oates. A couple of number 1s in there. Roberts and Moore were number 1s. Bob Kraft was a 3rd-round pick. He is alternating a lot tonight. A 2nd-round pick, Big Jumbo Elliott, who, man, I remember when Elliott came into the league, he said he's going to be the perfect right tackle. I think you thought he could make the change to that left tackle.
So did a lot of people. Remember, Bill Parcells told us, I'm the only guy that thought he could be a left tackle. And you know what? He's right. I don't know anybody else that thought that Jumbo Elliott was a left tackle.
2nd down and 11 coming up when play resumes as the Giants have it at their own 44-yard line.
That's why Parcells is coaching in the Super Bowl and we're up here. John, you can at least look tired.
3:33 left. 2nd and 11 at the 44-yard line. Hostetler avoids the blitz, hits Bavaro. He takes it to the 49. It's short of a first down. Kelso makes the tackle, and it will be 3rd and 3 at the 49-yard line of Buffalo.
Very high percentage call. for Hostetler, tied in short of the first down yardage.
Going to be third, and as you can see, 3.5. Your choice. Long 3, short 4. Under 3 minutes to play. Bills have used a timeout. They have 2 left, plus the free one at the 2-minute warning.
They're going to let it run down. What are they doing? They're going to take a timeout.
And Hostetler will take a timeout. He's going to take a timeout. He's going to take as much time off the game clock as possible. He just did that. 2:41.
They don't do it the conventional way.
No, they sure don't.
They want to get the seconds off that clock, and they seemingly are going to do it any way they want to. Obviously, that he had been told to do exactly that. There was no confusion out there whatsoever. Marcel's just one of the seconds off the clock. Wanted to talk it over. Big play. They get a first down. They're in great shape. So I'm confused as to what there is to talk over. Well, they seem to be doing a lot of it.
Here's a reminder, next Sunday college basketball returns, an exciting doubleheader here on ABC. You've got Ohio State undefeated taking on Big Ten rival Purdue at 2 o'clock Eastern time. And then regional action featuring defending national champ UNLV against the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers, or Georgia facing Kentucky next Sunday here on ABC. All right, 3rd down and 3 at the 49-yard line.
Giants come out with 4 wide receivers now.
Have Troy Kyles in the game along with Baker and Ingram.
And Anderson and Bavaro both check out.
Meggett flanks Hostetler in the backfield. They have to get to the 45.5 for a first down.
Watch Hostetler run with the ball.
Quarterback draw to the 48. He's short of the first down. Now it is 4th down. Seals and Bennett make the tackle. 4th and 2. The Bills with 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning, and Buffalo, after taking a moment to think about it, elects to use a timeout here.
Well, you think we'll see Gary Reasons take off in a fake punt here? Somehow.
Maybe if there are 10 men on the field, he will.
Just about the same geographical location.
Yeah, but I don't think it would surprise the Bills.
Ball is at the 48-yard line.
An incredible number there. The New York Giants have had the ball for 40 minutes and 23 seconds. That is astounding. There's Gary Reasons, who had the big run in their win over the 49ers.
Well, the Giants line up to punt.
That 40-minute time of possession again. I mean, again, that is just, you cannot go on enough about the Giants and their offensive line.
2/3 of the game. Here's Landeta to kick. Edwards is back at the 10-yard line. 4th and 2. The Bills have 1 timeout remaining, plus the free one at the 2-minute warning. 2:22 remaining in the game. Giants by 1. Giants hoping to draw the Bills offside, but the Bills are a bunch of statues. They're not moving. No way will they be assessed the penalty in this situation, as a fair catch is called for by Edwards at the 10. So now it's pretty simple for Buffalo. They're at the 10. You've got to move it into Scott Norwood's field goal range. He doesn't have a lot of range, and especially not on grass, but that's down the line right now. First things first for Buffalo. 2:16 left, 1 timeout left, 1 free one at the 2-minute warning.
Well, at least Buffalo doesn't have to go into an offense that they haven't been using very often. I mean, they have to run the 2-minute drill with a 2-minute offense that they run every snap of the game. Again, a reminder, not a turnover in this game.
1st and 10 at the 10. Kelly with the 4 wideouts. He also sends Thomas into the pattern. Steps up to avoid the sack. Takes it out to the 17-yard line. The ball is knocked loose, but the play was whistled dead. Pepper Johnson with the tackle, and that'll take us to the 2-minute warning. It'll be 2nd and 2 after an 8-yard Kelly gain and 1 Buffalo timeout left. 20-19 New York.
Is it too soon to say that?
It ain't half a bar.
So, we're doing well, but we're no doing great. What this company needs is some...
Excuse me for interrupting. You mean...
That's the fella!
The Enterprise Initiative could help your business. Take it before your competitors do. Phone 0800 500 200 for more information.
When you're working up a hunger, there's only one real McCoy. Extra thick for the biggest, crunchiest home-style chips with a whole lot more potato taste. The real McCoy, the big chip from the big country.
Scott Norwood of the Bills, a very accurate kicker through the years, but not a lot of range. And on grass fields in his career, 1 for 5 from 40 yards plus.
What wind there is at his back, is at the back of the Bills. But they're a long way from that coming into play.
2nd down and 2 from the 18. Kelly, the pump fake, steps up and gets tackled by Howard very close to a first. He takes it to the 20-yard line and is a little bit short of the first down. 3rd down, inches. Bills have not converted a 3rd down in the game until now, thanks to Thomas. Thurman Thomas out to the 40, a first down, tackled by Everson Walls.
What a show Thurman Thomas is putting on tonight.
1st and 10 at the 40, 21-yard pickup, 1:22 to go, 1 timeout left for Buffalo. And over the middle, he hits Andre Reed, who was noisy in the first quarter, pretty quiet since. Out to the 45, 2nd and 5. Kelly flanked by Thomas in the backfield. 3 wide receivers.
No pass rush at all. That's unbelievable.
All day and half of the night, and he's going to run with it, and he picks up the first down, takes it to the 46, tackled by Banks, 48 seconds.
And Eric Howard once out of the game.
He was standing up on the line of scrimmage. He was probably hurt as the Giants continue to go with the 2 down linemen.
And Buffalo takes its final timeout. So that's it for the Bills. They are out of timeouts.
Eric Howard doesn't look hurt. He looks like he can't breathe.
When you're only 2 of you in there trying to apply all the pass pressure, it's got to be exhausting over the course of a night. The Giants have gone exclusively with that 2 down lineman pass rush, what there has been of it, and they've tried to compensate by bringing Taylor, bringing Pepper Johnson, and it is just not getting to Kelly.
Well, and you cannot argue, really, Frank, with the effectiveness of Belichick's system because it has worked.
Super Bowl 5. Back in 1971, the closest game in Super Bowl history, a 3-point advantage, Jim O'Brien's field goal.
We're guaranteed of eclipsing that unless somebody pops the ball up in the air and returns it for a touchdown.
It is 1st and 10. Buffalo at the 46. Again, Scott Norwood. 0 for 6 in his career from 50 plus. His longest field goal ever, 49 in 1985. His longest this year, 48.
You would have to think that Buffalo's got to be targeting at least the 25-yard line. So they're a good 20 yards away from where they need to be.
From the gun, first down at the 46-yard line. It's a three-man New York rush. Kelly throws, it's low, but it's caught by McKellar off his shoe tops at the 40. Again, the Bills without a timeout. It'll be second down and 4. Kelly lines up over center, and
well, they're going to look at it.
The umpire steps in to see, of all things, if it's a completed pass. That stops the clock with 29 seconds. Mark Burns is the replay official.
Let's take a look at it. Here comes Taylor on the blitz. There's McKellar, 84. He does a nice job of scooping this ball out. Oh, that's a nice catch.
He's got it.
Nice catch.
He's got it.
You know what? I bet the official saw the ball pop up a little bit, but what it did, it hits McKellar's lower leg and his foot. A fabulous catch. Great look, guys. Great look.
Play will stand. Seaman
After further review of instant replay, we have a completed catch. Second down.
He'll wind the clock now as soon as the ball is ready for play.
Easy to be in the instant replay booth when you get a look like that.
But that did give the Giants pass rush a little breather.
Second down and 5. Here's Thurman Thomas swinging to the outside. Has the first down. Thurman Thomas takes it to the 30. Well, they are in Norwood field goal range. Collins makes the stop. The Bills are going to have to ground the ball to stop the clock at the 29-yard line. Kelly throws it into the ground. 8 seconds.
It'd be 47 yards from right here.
And they have to send him in here. They can't take a chance and run another play.
Norwood is right on the tip of his range.
Well, the Giants know what it's like to live this from the other end. Last week, it's Barr. This week, it's Norwood against them.
Well, we all remember the pictures of Jim O'Brien when he made that field goal jumping up and down.
Parcells wants a timeout to make Norwood think it's going to be a 47-yard field goal attempt. Frank Reich will be the holder when the ball is snapped. Timeout, New York.
You think of that video of O'Brien jumping up and down and celebrating and becoming a hero around the world, and certainly Scott Norwood a chance to step into those shoes.
O'Brien kicked his game winner. It was a 32-yarder with 5 seconds left in Super Bowl V to win it for Baltimore over Dallas 16-13.
Now, Kenny Wolf, if you bring up a clip of O'Brien kicking the field goal, I'm going to be impressed. I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
You asked for it. Here's O'Brien, Super Bowl V, winning it at the end, and now 20 years later, Scott Norwood out of Reich's hold, and we saw this scene last week for the Giants, huddling, some of them refusing to look, just praying. Bars was good. Now Norwood tries to kick his longest ever on grass, 47 yards. 8 seconds left. Adam Lingner will snap it. No good. Wide right.
There are photographers and people all over the field, but the clock still has 4 seconds on it. And Steve Diassi, there's still 4 seconds on the clock.
Players are all over the field congratulating each other. It'll take a while to get this shaped up.
All the Giants have to do is a kneel down, and it's all over. It's a premature celebration, but it will be a celebration nonetheless.
How much emotion can you stand? last week. Last second win over the 49ers with the field goal. A missed field goal tonight. A victory over the Bills in Super Bowl 25. And Dan, I kind of agree with you. If you had to pick an MVP, you should be able to give it the entire offensive line of the Giants. Those two tremendous drives at 75 and 87. It turned this game around. When you keep the ball for over 40 minutes of a ball game, your offensive line did a wonderful job. And has there ever been a man in the position that Jeff Hostetler is in right now? A backup quarterback, a career backup quarterback that comes off the bench and quarterbacks his team to a Super Bowl victory. That was Lawrence Taylor who stepped in there and gave Parcells a quick peck. Lawrence, who has known nothing but double teams all season long. And tonight, with 4 linebackers and only 2 defensive linemen in front of him, he somehow or other hung in there.
An amazing year for the Giants, who started the season 10-0, routed by Philadelphia, lost to San Francisco, a loss to Buffalo, and then the loss of Sims. And a lot of people thought they were going out early in the playoffs. But they beat Chicago, they stunned San Francisco, and they have just enough to beat Buffalo.
What's the old saying? Great defense beats great offense. An error-free game, no turnovers. There was the safety, but it ends up being a non-factor.
But if you think back to the way Hostetler saved that safety, as opposed to losing the ball when he should have or could have, and avoided the 6. It's